the weather is changing and we're going to be going indoors a lot more. The classes are capped at 12 people inside, so just keep that in mind as far as signing up, and be respectful as you sign up and cancel, just to give room for other people to get in. As far as programming, the programming is going to shift a bit as we go inside, because we're going to be wearing masks inside for the time being until we hear otherwise, when we can take those off and resume as we normally would. Here the focus is for inside, because we're going to be focusing on a few things a lot different than being outside. Outside we can hit harder workouts as far as intensity wise. We can hit AMRAPs for time workouts, so that you're out there breathing heavy and not restricted under a mask. Now, when we come inside, a few things that we keep in mind is logistics. All right, the machines are either in your space, your workspace when you're working, or it's in between. So we're just playing around with logistics, and just keep that stuff in mind as far as, oh, I want to be able to do this, or want to be able to do X, Y, and Z. If you have questions, please feel free to ask us. So first thing is strength bias. We're going to be lifting a lot more. We're going to lift heavier. It's going to be lower volume, so we're going to use the racks. We have 10 racks, and I'm going to get a few freestanding ones. We're going to probably use the yokes that are stored in the back as some freestanding racks, so that 12 people can squat. The other thing is we're going to be deadlifting heavy. All right, we deadlift to some degree outside. We're hitting unbroken reps, but we're going to be able to hit those 1 rep max. We're going to hit 3s, 5s, and be able to drop the bar, as it's going to be heavy inside. And again, on the rack as well, we're going to be doing strict pressing. So we're going to be able to build that strength up and be able to unload it onto the rack, and that's going to turn into push press. When we get to a point where we're just limited in what we can do with strict press, we're going to be able to use our legs and build a little more weight overhead with the push press. So that's part of the strength bias with raw strength. As we look at Olympic lifting, all right, we went from a lot of technique to heavier lifts, and now we're doing a bunch of cycling. We're going to flip back into more technical, heavier stuff, and then just get sound technique and allow ourselves to lift heavier consistently with low volume. You get that rest in between, because you're going to need it with a mask on. As far as the skill, you're still going to see some cycling. You're going to see it in EMOMs. You're going to see it in intervals, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. Gymnastics. We've been doing strict pull-ups for a bit now. That's going to turn into kipping pull-ups soon. And then we just started building toes to bar, and we're going to continue that in some little intervals, EMOMs, so that we get used to being on the rig and kipping more. And that goes for just being able to hit bigger sets. So that means if you need to do knee raises or a mix of toes to bar and knee raises, that's fine with that, as we'll build the volume there. We're going to be adding dips. All right, we have 10 rings inside the rig, and we have 8 rings hanging from the rafters. So we will be putting the rings in spaces that you can have rings at your station. So we'll be adjusting where the equipment is located for that. And then in turn, we'll be progressing into muscle ups and muscle up progressions from there. As far as dips, we want to make sure we have the right mechanics, the right strength components before we just jump right into muscle ups. As far as having the right strength, we're going to be doing strict handstand push-ups. We've been doing pike in some functional bodybuilding stuff, but for those of us that do have strict handstand push-ups and those that do want to get them, we're going to be adding that into the progression as well. We will not be kipping. So those of us who are new to our gym, we don't do kipping handstand push-ups anymore. We haven't in quite a while. It is not the safest way to go about it, as far as your neck, your joints are just not built to withstand kipping, especially under the intensity that we normally would do it. So we focus on strict. The only time we do kipping is if it's in a open workout. We do allow it if they're calling for kipping, but we'll teach you the right way to do it, so that we're not resting on our head and not putting ourselves at risk. From there, engine workouts. We're going to still hit engine workouts. Of late, we haven't been changing the program based on the weather. We've just said if it's inside, we're going to adapt to it, and it's been pretty good. The intensity is just a little different, so we're going to continue that. The machines are going to be limited as far as if we go outside for the engine, you may not see the machines, you may see fewer just because it's going to get colder and damper outside. So the machines are not made to withstand the real cold and the wet weather. So if we're outside and it's coldish, probably we're going to do running, we're going to do kettlebells, dumbbells, box, stuff that can be out there and you can still move well with that. As far as the intensity, when we're in here doing engine, it's going to be low to moderate. The workouts are going to be, they're going to be designed so that you can perform in here. And then it's not a large task, and it's not real difficult to breathe with the mask on. You're going to have some breaks built in as well. Sustainability is always the goal with the engine workout. So if you're unsure of how to go about things, we're going to go over it. If you just don't understand, please ask us. We're going to explain that even further. This is a good mental test, hitting a longer piece with a little bit of air restriction, learning to breathe a little better during workouts. If you are not a nasal breather, this is an opportunity to learn how to do that. And again, like I said, built-in rest is involved, and that's much needed so that you can kind of bring the heart rate down and reset, regroup for the next piece. As far as the training style and the time domains, all right, touched on it a little bit. We're going to be doing intervals, all right, 2 minutes on, 1 minute off. Every 4 minutes we do a certain amount. And perhaps as many perfect reps as possible. So that's in that engine or that quality piece that we're looking at. EMOMs are, we've already seen it inside. They're perfect for getting the work done and still getting rest built into that. We're going to limit the number of 4-time workouts and AMRAPs because just the intensity goes too high. As far as the 4-time workouts, already have planned of built-in rest, so 15 or 20 seconds in between each movement so that you can kind of hit the movement as desired with good quality, and then you have a little bit of space so that you're not spiking your heart rate too much and you can go on to the next movement. So any questions with this, you can feel free to ask your coaches, you can feel free to come to me, and then we'll be having that program starting pretty soon. So enjoy.